Hey everybody, it's me, Dr. Whimsy, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about 5 things I am willing not to give up when I do my grocery budgeting. So most of us in the frugal community are trying to reduce our spending, and we look at what our current budget is and we see if we can reduce it, save a little money here, save a little money there. We've talked about this in previous videos, but today I decided to do a video talking about my groceries and the 5 things that I will not give up that really are the kind of a thing that I, as a broke aristocrat, absolutely love. And I'm going to talk about it right now. So these are 5 things that make my grocery bill a little bit more expensive, or maybe a lot more expensive, than some of the other people who have frugal channels. And it's starting with number 1, the one thing that I will not compromise on: good coffee. Now, everybody talks about keeping their budget down and not buying groceries they don't need and getting rid of all the naughty things, but it's also okay to say, I want to have 1 or 2 luxury items, some things I really, really enjoy, and I'll try and get a good discount on it. I chose my favorite all-time coffee that I can get a deal on is Peet's Coffee. I have actually gone hunting to find out where I can get the cheapest Peet's coffee. The large bag, the cheapest I have found it, is at Gelson's. Sometimes it's as much as 40 to 50% off. So I like to buy a large bag of Peet's about once a month. And then I measure out my water and I measure everything out so I know precisely how much coffee to make every day so that none of it is wasted. And so that way I can enjoy my coffee and not dump half of it down the sink. I've talked about this in the past. Go ahead, and if you really love good quality coffee, find the best deal you can for the highest quality you can. I chose Peet's, but you might choose something else. And then just make sure to measure everything out. If you want to have 1 or 2 cups in the morning and enjoy a great cup of coffee, most of us can really figure out a way to let that happen. Now, if you're really strapped for cash, I like chock full of nuts. You can get it on Amazon.com. It's also sold in a lot of markets on the East Coast. It is a good quality Robusta bean. It's not an Arabica, it's a Robusta, but it's extremely tasty, extremely delicious. On the high end, but you can still get a great discount, is Peet's Coffee. On the low end, I picked chock full of nuts as my all-time favorite coffee. Number 2 thing that I'm willing to spend a little extra money for is coconut sugar. I've seen coconut sugar sold at the 99-cent store. The little bags of coconut sugar go for 99 cents. Now, coconut sugar has a lower glycemic index than regular sugar, and so it's not going to be spiking my blood sugar. It also contains a couple trace minerals that are probably good for me. So I like to have a little bit of coconut sugar every morning in that coffee. That is my luxury gourmet coffee. And as a broke aristocrat, I've really created a budget that allows me to do that. Number 3, nutrient-dense foods. This is one of those areas that some people call a luxury, and I would argue that it's a necessity. If you are spending a lot of money or trying to save money on your groceries, so you buy a bunch of prepackaged stuff that contains all kinds of preservatives, I would argue that that's expensive shopping, because when we eat garbage, it puts us at greater risk of health challenges, and those health challenges can actually be fairly expensive. Some of the health challenges that Americans are facing that can directly be linked to the type of food they're eating is, number 1, obesity. And with obesity comes increased risk for coronary artery disease, type 2 diabetes, and increased risk for even some types of cancer, and colon cancer tops the list with when it comes to eating a low-fiber, SAD diet. SAD stands for Standard American, Standard American Diet. And so number 3, while I said it was a luxury, I think it's really a priority, and it's part of the 4 walls, is to buy the most nutrient-dense food you can in the most frugal way you can. Number 4 is to buy organic when I'm purchasing the dirty dozen. Now, I've said before, and I'll say it again, that not all fruits and vegetables need to be organic. I'm only concerned about buying organics when I look at the heavily sprayed crops, those crops that have been bombarded by a lot of pesticides. Really, we're talking about what's known as the dirty dozen. Now, even if you're looking at some foods that might not be the cleanest foods in the world, you can always buy some washing soap for vegetables at your local Trader Joe's or Aldi's to reduce the pesticide exposure. And if something contains a peel and you're able to peel it, then that's a way of getting past concerns about exposure to pesticides. Number 4, I would argue, is to purchase organic when you can if you're talking about the dirty dozen. And if you can't afford to purchase organic for the dirty dozen, make sure to pick up some soap to wash the vegetables. It doesn't take a lot, and just wash off the pesticides as best you can, and to peel those vegetables if you're concerned about them being part of the dirty dozen. Number 5, the last thing I picked was good chocolate. I don't have to have a lot of chocolate, but when I do decide to have a good chocolate, I look for the best deals. I have found dark chocolate, almond, and sea salt at the 99-cent store, and boy wasn't I thrilled. I was able to buy a couple of those large bars, stick it in the refrigerators to keep it nice and fresh. So this is a quick video where I'm just talking about what I'm willing to spend a little bit extra on my groceries, those luxury items or those items that I think are going to be more nutritious. Be sure and tell me where you are when it comes to grocery shopping, and if you do treat yourself to anything that's special, a little bit on the expensive side, or what we call a luxury item. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure and share, like, subscribe. Tell me what you're doing to take care of yourself without breaking the bank, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care. Bye.